Hello and welcome. My guest today is a man who sprang to fame in the 1990s. That's when he was in charge of the Delhi Development Authority, and in that capacity he demolished thousands of illegal structures belonging to the rich and the famous, including powerful politicians. That stint earned KJ Alphons the title of Demolition Man. He's famous now for another reason. As tourism minister in the Narendra Modi government, Alphons has earned a reputation for being a different kind of minister, as I think you will find out in this interview. Normally when we do these interviews, I call up the person we're interviewing, or we send a letter to whoever there is, or we deal with the PS, or we ask somebody who knows the guest to say, will you give an interview? In this case, my producer, not me, called you directly, sent you an SMS, you responded, dealt with you and fixed the interview. Is that correct? That's how it happened?
Yeah, but that's why I do things. I mean, nobody fixes my appointments. I take all the calls. I give appointments myself directly, and I talk to people, and every call that's on my phone is returned on the same day, unless it's past midnight.
Doesn't that take too long for a minister?
No.
Which is the usual excuse?
But it actually doesn't. Okay. See, I take about 10 minutes from my office to my home. Okay. So that 10 minutes, I can reply possibly all the pending missed calls, all of them. I can also possibly reply all the messages. So whenever I get free, I keep checking. Is there a message? Is there a call? So I take that 2 minutes, 3 minutes to get back to all those people.
Yeah.
So everybody who calls me, and almost everybody has my number, they get a call back. And if they message me, I call them back. I give them an appointment myself. We're actually so much simpler.
Were you like this when you were a civil servant as well?
Yes, even in the civil service. I said, anybody who has an issue, please call me. Even in fact, when I was a district collector, I used to give out in the newspaper my numbers every 2 months, saying that this is my number. Anybody has a problem, please call me. I mean, this would
you
come out
in the newspapers?
Yes, it would come out as a news, saying that if you want to contact the collector, this is the number, please call.
That's always been, if you'll forgive me saying, this slight contradiction, because when people meet you, you are this approachable, nice guy, and yet you built your reputation as a demolition man who was not by definition a nice guy. So explain that.
What do you mean? I'm not an evil guy.
The jury's out, they'll decide. But your demolition man phase is when you really made your reputation.
Yeah, I know.
Because you really took no nonsense and you went ahead and demolished things.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
We demolished actually 14,310 illegal mansions in Delhi.
In which period of time?
In 5 years.
14,000?
Yeah, 14,310. This is from 1992 to 1997.
Yeah.
And these are all mansions. I never demolished slums. And of course, the first building we demolished was of H.K.L. Bhagat, the very famous, infamous 1982
Notorious. I leave that to you, right? Yeah.
Yes, and the size of the building was 200,000, 2 lakh square feet in Model Town. And of course, my people were very scared. They said, sir, if you touch him, you will be dead tomorrow. He'll burn you alive. I said, let's see. We organized this huge army. I mean, we had something like, 10,000 people, 10,000 cops with us on open trucks.
10,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
In trucks. I mean, we are going to demolish the biggest.
He was king of Delhi.
He was king of Delhi. That's why I said. So we had to have the force, visible force. 10,000 cops with guns on open trucks. In front of that, 25 bulldozers. In front of that, me and my dog on an open jeep.
Why did you take your dog? I mean, it's a matter of interest.
Well, you see, some of this has to be drama. Okay. See, I had to create a scare, saying that this guy is going to destroy. I told my people, when we enforce the law, we must start with the biggest culprits first, biggest criminals first. So that's why we made out a list of people who are encroachers, and this Bhagat, H.K.L. Bhagat
was number one?
Was number one. Then of course we moved to number 2.
Who was number 3? Who were the others?
I don't remember the other people.
But like all powerful rich guys?
All the powerful rich people from Sajan Kumars to anybody who was protecting all these things. And actually, if you look at it...
Nobody tried to stop you from the government?
No. There was not one telephone call to me ever to say, please don't do a demolition, not in my entire tenure, except 2 cases. One was, of course, the Butler House. Yeah. This was at the beginning of the encroachments in Butler House. Possibly there must have been less than 1,000 people. I had my entire army ready to go and demolish it. And of course, the file was called at midnight by the Lieutenant Governor, and the demolition never happened. 3 months later, I planned again at midnight, the file was called. And yes, Thrice I fixed it. Today you have 500,000 illegal people there, and you could just go onto that D&D bridge and see that entire riverbed is being taken over by multi-story building, 10, 15 floors.
There's no river left.
There's no river. It's a mafia taking over. Now, why did this happen? That is one case. Second, of course, was I was supposed to demolish the Radisson Hotel near the airport.
Yeah.
It was on the right of way of the.
Right.
The file was called by the cabinet. It's actually when Gujarat was was the prime minister.
I was going to point that out right.
Yeah, the file was called. It was taken to the cabinet. The alignment of the road was changed. Can you imagine this?
In fact, that hotel had not opened for a while. There had been a reasonable controversy about it being an illegal structure even earlier.
So, funny, the alignment of the road was changed to protect the hotel. So, these are only two cases where they took away the file from me, and then, of course.
Nobody tried to bribe you?
No, there's no question where. There's no question of. I mean, this is funny thing. Nobody's ever offered me a bribe.
Ever?
What a
Civil
shame.
service, ministry,
Never.
nothing.
What a shame. So I can't even say I refused a bribe, okay? So
Nobody, I suppose you, and this is the contradiction of Alphons. On one level you're friendly and approachable, but you're also slightly intimidating and scary.
See, I'm extremely friendly to people.
Yeah.
But I'm, I think, very, very scary to people who break the law. It's very simple, it's very business-like. Very, very business-like. There is no question of fooling around.
Heartening. So the system won't crush you. You can go ahead.
Absolutely, you can. That's what I'm saying. I never ever had an interference in my life from senior bureaucrats. I mean, I had this problem from the lieutenant governor, who was actually a bureaucrat, not from a politician. They leave you.
But he was a political appointee, to be fair.
And I had fairly good relationship with all my political executives. Even it's not that I was hostile to them or anything. I did one of the longest tenure as district collector of Kottayam, 3.5 years, and I was left free to do whatever I wanted to.
I know this is widely known, but in 1996, you were offered a parliamentary ticket. There was talk of you joining politics. You didn't at that stage, but you have now. What made the difference?
I think in 96, I had no money at all. Absolutely. I mean, see, politics is an area where you go into and it's very uncertain. So my wife would never ever agree. And to me, family is a big priority. And you got to take your wife along. And of course, by 2006, I said, I'm now good enough basically to survive. Not that one has got any big backup, any big reserve, but we are enough to survive. And then I was willing to resign, but still my wife said no. But then of course this time I overruled, and I quit IAS and I became MLA on the 32nd day, independent MLA. So 96 also I could have won easily a parliament seat.
But you were then much more famous even than you are now, because you had demolished the houses of the powerful.
Very
so it would have been a perfect time to join politics, but you said no.
Actually, I could have come in much earlier. I could have much longer political life, but I guess my wife wouldn't agree, and I could have won a parliament seat easily from Kottayam, actually. Maybe even from Delhi, you don't know, because when Times of India did a poll on me, I got 89.6% of Delhiites endorsing me.
Let's talk a little bit about the tourism ministry. First of all, were you surprised we met tourism minister?
Yeah, actually, I was hugely surprised. You know, the next day, I think it was a Sunday, the ministry was being made. And I said, obviously, I'm nowhere. There is no chance of me being there at all. So I was going to Calicut for a speech to the Art of Living children. They were organizing a leadership camp. So when I got down, I was going through Bangalore, hopping flight. And then when I got down there, and I saw a lot of missed calls from the Prime Minister's office. So when I called back, the OSD to the Prime Minister said the Prime Minister wants to discuss, see you immediately. I said, what for? He said he wants to discuss the fight between the Marxists and the RSS in Kerala. I said that's been going on for 50 years, and there are 1,500 children waiting there. So I'll brief him a couple of days later. You know, he wants to be briefed right today. So take a flight back. So I took a flight back, got back, and then when I got back, Prime Minister called me and said, you're going to be a minister. I said, what? How can that be possible? So it is a complete surprise.
I would have thought urban development would have been a more natural ministry for you.
See, urban development ministry, of course, one has some bit of knowledge on that, because I was worked in that area. I mean, you're basically talking about working only in the cities and to make things better. I mean, this is selling India.
To the world.
To the world, and also to Indians. To say, see India.
Okay, let's talk about tourism in India. There's a general view, and tell me if you agree with it, that while we have one of the most beautiful countries in the world, tourism in India has never taken off the way it should have. And I can give you all the figures of how Singapore gets many more times tourists in India, etc. But you know those figures. Because the government has concentrated only on little bits of tourism, we've never had the infrastructure, we've never had anything that makes tourists feel welcome or feel that India is an easy destination to negotiate. Is that fair?
Actually, let me tell you a couple of things which a lot of people know. As for the latest 2018 World Tour and Travel Council report, India is at number 3.
As
in
what?
power and performance. After China, after the United States, India is at number 3. Last year, we generated $234 billion, not million, $234 billion from tourism, out of which 87% was from domestic tourism and 13% from international tourist arrivals. The revenue from international tourist arrivals was $27 billion, which is equivalent to about $1,99,000 crores, which is a big money. And if you take the entire income from tourism, which is $234 billion, it's equivalent to about 17 lakh crores. It's enormous amount of money. We employ 84 million people in the tourism sector. 84 million. It's mind-boggling. Last 4 years, we've created 13.92 million jobs in the Indian economy. We are the biggest job creators. Against a global growth rate of 7%, our foreign tourist arrivals increased by 14%. In terms of revenue,
you're counting NRIs and people for business.
No, if I include the NRIs.
How do you make a distinction between people who've come for business and returning NRIs?
Like last year, I mean, if I take the only foreign tourists, if I count, it's 10.2 million. And if I count the foreign tourists, it's about 5.4.
If you add the
so
NRIs.
I add up, total together is
so
about
10.2 is not bad.
It's about 15.6 million, 15.6 million.
10.2 is not
it's
bad.
It's not bad. Yeah. See, now the revenue
it's probably less than the number of people who go to Las Vegas every year, but it's still not bad.
See, actually last year, we had a foreign outgo. India outbound was 25 million. Which is again very good. I mean, let Indians go abroad. But the Prime Minister again said, go abroad, learn things, but also see India. That's what.
So that's going to be my question. That in America, for instance, if you were to compare the tourism scene in America, which are good parallels, the American tourism industry, hotel industries depend on Americans. Foreigners may come, foreigners may not come. Aren't there massive opportunities in making Indians go to other parts of India?
I think that is a big thing. In fact, today I was kind of approving a movie which we have made. Our big effort today is really to get Indians to see India. See, there is so much. It's so incredible. 8,000 kilometers of the sea coast with beautiful beaches, the backwaters of Kerala, 73% of the Himalayas, which is so exciting, the entire Northeast, which is such a virgin territory, the luxury of Rajasthan, which the hotel, palaces convert to hotels, the palaces on wheels, the backwaters, the houseboats, the temples of Tamil Nadu and Orissa. I mean, you go to any state, it's so incredible. You know, when I went to Khajuraho the other day, I sat there for 3 hours just watching these incredible monuments built in the 11th to 13th century. I said, how could anybody in the world have built something like this? So it's a journey of discovery for me every day, and I think this is what India should do more, so much more, and it generates so much of employment. I was also talking about the foreign revenue. While the global revenues went up by last year from foreign tourist arrivals went up by 5% last year, India, it went up by 19.2%. So it's about 4 times what is the international average. But am I happy? No, I'm not happy. I want international tourist arrivals to reach 20 million by 2020. That's in another 2 years.
That's a big jump.
It's a big jump, and I also want my revenues from $27 billion to go up to $50 billion by 2020 and to $100 billion by 2023. Now, all this is possible. Now, you're talking about infrastructure. We have certain problems.
Yes, let's be honest about it.
Yeah, I want to be honest about it. One of the biggest allegations made is that, is India safe? Now, unfortunately, the global media has been so unfair to us. And also the local media. I'm not even sparing the local media. Like the Thomson Reuters report said, India is the most unsafe place for women. For God's sake. I mean, who did this survey? I mean, India is a safe country. We are 1.3 billion people. I have isolated incidents taking place occasionally. The other day there was a news in all the leading newspapers saying for the first time in 23 years, there was 1 week where there was no shooting in the US. Can you imagine? And look at the Paris that big shooting incident in the theater where the musical was being performed, Paris was back on its feet the very next day. Here, every small incident, I'm sorry, these incidents shouldn't happen at all. I don't endorse any incident. Shouldn't happen. When it happens, the global media and also Indian media puts it on the front page. It's not just the Prime Minister's responsibility or the Tourism Minister's responsibility only to bring tourists to India. I think it's a responsibility of every Indian citizen because it creates jobs, it brings in so much money.
No? On the one hand, you're saying the media puts it on the front page and creates a bad impression. But if a woman is raped in a bus, what should we do? Put it inside on the ground so tourists may not come?
I'm not saying that. But
so it's a difficult balance.
But I see, if you make it a discourse, like when I went to Berlin, they asked me, oh, this was a global media when I was being interviewed. They said, oh, you had one incident in Delhi where a girl got raped. Yeah. I said, that itself shows how safe India is. This incident happened 5 years back. And I'm not endorsing it at all. It's a horrible incident. It should never happen. But the point is, we got to move on, isn't it? We should make sure this kind of incidents don't happen.
So let's accept that the hype or reporting about safety is one major obstacle. What else is an obstacle?
Number two is a feeling that India is not so clean. The sanitation, the water is not clean. Now, this
Which
is where
inaccurate, let's be honest.
No, this is pretty inaccurate. Now, take for example, over the past 5 years, I think the Prime Minister has been the biggest ambassador for tourism in the country. We built 100 million toilets in this country, 10 crore million toilets in this country. That has dramatically changed the sanitation in the country. The open defecation has basically become non-existent. From 38% accessibility toilets today, we have 98% of people have
conceded. But the drinking water is still unsafe.
See, things are becoming better. Drinking water has to be safe. Now, these are some of the issues. Now, some of the cities have taken over. Take, for example, Indore. It was one of the dirtiest cities in the whole country once upon a time, and I used to visit it so often. Today, Indore is the cleanest city. So, therefore, local bodies, if they want to make a difference, local panchayats, if they want to make a difference, they can make the dramatic difference.
But you're an urban development guy, so you will know that cities like Simla, Ooty have been destroyed by unplanned development. There used to be such wonderful, beautiful hill stations. All of them have now been sold to builders.
See, this is where we lack planning. I think what happens is, recently I went to Mussoorie, and then I went to the Kempty Falls. We as IAS probations, we used to go there. Oh my God, the way the whole place is come up is tragic. There is no planning, there is no enforcement. Number one, of course, there is no planning. This is what I've been telling everybody. First of all, before you put the first brick, please call the best experts in the world, sit down together and see how we all need to survive together. We can't just have bricks and mortar coming up all over the place. We need to survive together. We need to take the universe along. We can't destroy the universe. Unfortunately, most of the states don't have a planning. They don't have a comprehensive planning at all. Some wooden-headed guy sitting in a dusty office, he draws out something and everybody violates it. Now, this of course
and this guy sitting in a dusty office often gets rich, no, as people violate.
Of course.
So here's my point, that these are genuine objections, what you're talking about, safety, exaggerated or not, sanitation, where we can see that a lot
things are dramatically
where a lot has been done, unplanned development, corruption. My point is that as a tourism minister, all of these have an impact on tourism, and yet there's not much you alone sitting in Delhi can do about them.
See, I need to take everybody along. Number one, see, where we're going to have a clean country or not depends on the last citizen out there. It depends on the local bodies. It depends on the state governments. Now, we all need to work together, have this consciousness that this is my country, I need to preserve this country, it's my job to be a tourism ambassador. Every citizen must feel that. Now, today every child, as a result of the Swachh Bharat initiative of the Honorable Prime Minister, today you don't see a child throwing a chocolate wrapper on the road at all, but you see a senior guy doing that. So kids are learning, but we elders are not learning. So we need to create a whole lot of things. Now, from my own ministry, we have created infrastructure. I have about 7,000 crores worth of infrastructure being created at tourism destinations. And it's coming out well. From Manipur, Kangla Fort, I have financed 100 crores. I inaugurated it. The other day, I went to Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. We have financed it. I went to the Hornbill Festival. We have put up beautiful cottages there.
You've really been traveling, huh?
Oh, I've been traveling. I've been to all these places multiple times. I went to Chhattisgarh the other day. We put up a beautiful destination there next to a dam. So all this is coming up.
So you've been selling India, And you say we should sell India to Indians because it's good to go abroad, but realize what's beautiful in your own country. There are people watching this program who I think are convinced. So tell me 5 places you would advise people to go this year.
This year, I think go to the backwaters of Kerala.
Why is Kerala always number 1?
I'm from Kerala, even though I'm a member of Parliament.
No, but the backwaters, no disagreement there. One of the world's great
backwaters of Kerala. Okay. Take a ride on a houseboat. Of course, Rajasthan, if you can afford it, to go to one of those luxury hotels, a palace converted into hotel. It's ultimate luxury. Yeah. Again in Rajasthan, if you can take a ride in our luxury palace on wheels, luxury train. Then of course go up to Kutch. In Gujarat, we have, I think it's just incredibly beautiful, the very sight of it. Go to Tawang and beyond.
So we've got 1 Kerala backwaters,
yes.
2 Rajasthan palaces,
yes.
3 palace on wheels,
yes.
Then
4 is Gujarat, Kutch,
4 Kutch,
and 5
Tawang.
Then of course
you can do more. I don't know.
No, I can name.
So name
no, Khajuraho. I think this is something which everybody must really go and see.
One great undiscovered destination, because palaces, backwaters, Khajuraho, 10 years ago you would have said the same. Tell me something that's come up now that you think is so stunning and people should see.
I think this is a place which I inaugurated in Chhattisgarh.
Chhattisgarh?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't correct the name of the place.
Okay, but tell me what it is.
In a tribal area, this is on the side of a dam. We have put up 30 cottages. Our idea is to put up 100 cottages there. It's just incredible. It's got a lot of water sports, and you drive through the forest, and it's in the tribal area. So even all the cottages which are built have got whole lot of tribal art stuff in there, and it's very, very beautiful.
So is that going to be a growth area? Because stuff like tribal art has been ignored in the greater tourism narrative.
Now this is where you not only go and stay there. I want an outlet of the tribal art being sold there in the souvenir shops, which of course is there. And these are things which you need to do. See, if you ask me the question, which is the best place, I think this is something which each of us must discover for ourselves. I really can't prescribe and say, now, this is the best destination for you. It's all in the mind. You might just go all by yourself or with a couple of friends. You might just go and climb a tree and say, wow, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Somebody just might go and climb a rock and say, wow, I'm on top of the world. So it's a feeling. You feel happy. You feel confident. Wow, I'm one with the world. So this is the whole thing.
This is the message you're sending to tourism and India, that it's not do this, do that. It's go
discover.
Where you discover
yourself.
And go where you feel one with the universe.
Exactly. Discover yourself. This must be a journey to discover yourself. And mind you, the selling line is very simple. You don't come to India to see things, not even to experience things. India tourism means transformative. You would never be the same again if you really see India.
An interesting man with an interesting style. We'll see you again next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.